So what happened from here to here? The best way I could describe this era of life, it's the scene from The Matrix. Well, what's interesting, in real life, the red pill represents the truth, and the blue pill represents the lie. And in this season of life, I wasn't sure what pill to take. Speaking of The Matrix, I literally thought I was Trinity from The Matrix when I was a kid. I thought one day I would play an action hero doing martial arts, fighting bad guys.
Devil, lay down, dish that level, make devils pray now.
My parents told me before I could even walk, I would pull myself up and hold on to the seat of the sofa and then try to kick like my dad. My dad, he was a well-rounded martial artist. He did taekwondo, he did karate, also did a little bit of boxing and MMA. I was around it all the time and still am today. A big part of my childhood I spent training in karate. I was obsessed with it. I was dedicated, I was focused, and I worked hard. I spent hours and hours every day for years training for belt promotions and competitions. I wanted to be the best. I traveled nationally, I competed internationally, and I won a lot. I learned a lot of discipline and mental strength and work ethic. It really developed parts of me that created structure in my life. I had some of my best childhood memories at that time. Life was good. It was really, really good. When I was 9, I remember having my first real crush. It was this boy at my karate dojo. I thought he was so cute. He was a good kid. We started karate at the same time. We went through all the belt promotions together. We even had to compete against each other in tournaments. I always beat him though. Our parents were friends too. This crush lasted a really long time, all the way to junior high school, but he always liked someone else, and that was that. Junior high and high school, that was an era. You know, you're put into this education system that also feels like a social experiment, right? And it could just be overwhelming as a teen. You know, our prefrontal cortex is not developed yet, right? So the ability to think rationally is challenging and it's emotional. Your body goes through these changes, you know, or you're around a new group of people, older kids who have influence over you. And I started to make dumb decisions at this point. With peer pressure, having good and bad judgment is based on popularity. And being popular in high school isn't a good thing, but kids do things to get acceptance and approval. Although that feeling in my heart told me not to, I skipped school for the first time with my friends. I didn't get caught. Ignoring that feeling in my heart started to feel exciting, and I started to crave that feeling. You know, I now had more secrets to keep from my parents, so I kept doing wrong until I got caught. And my parents were strict, like really strict Christian parents. Then you experience teenage angst and rebellion. I just wanted to do what my friends were doing. And we had no idea what we were doing. We were just trying to be cool and imitate what the older kids were doing. And I was also influenced by TV and movies that I would watch and music that I would listen to. You know, I idolized these celebrities. I had idols. In high school, I loved to dance. Because of karate, I became a good dancer very quickly. You know, I could pick up choreography very fast because of karate. The memorization of learning forms, we call them katas, became very easy for me. And I was known in high school to be a good dancer. I even won talent shows with my dancing. You know, being a hip hop dancer meant I consumed rap 24/7. which means I was feeding my mind with sex, drugs, alcohol, pride. I was being groomed in a new way that helped me make my decision to take the blue pill. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. I remember tasting alcohol for the first time in high school, and that eventually led to something excessive in my life. Teenage rebellion again. I was finding ways to lie to my parents and say I was staying at a friend's house. I would party every weekend with my friends and drink. I would drink until I had alcohol poisoning. I remember it got so bad. I remember just being so drunk at a family party. It was actually my dad's 40th birthday party, and I just threw up all over myself. It was so embarrassing. And I realized that feeling in my heart that would tell me to do the right thing felt more quiet. And I needed to do more extra things to feel that excitement. I started sneaking out. I started going to raves and nightclubs underage. I started smoking weed, and that led to eating shrooms. And then I dropped acid for the first time. That was a horrible experience. Never did that again. And then it was Molly and ecstasy. That was my drug of choice. It made me feel euphoria, lowered my inhibitions, and you just felt loose and vulnerable, and I loved to dance on it. I was dancing with boys, I was making out with boys, and then that moved on to making out with girls. Making out with girls, that felt familiar. It took me back to being 5 years old again. How do you reconcile what happened? I was just curious and confused. And then it was off to a new era. From high school to Hollywood. I remember this summer after my senior year, I went to Hollywood to visit a friend because I knew I wanted to move there after high school and work in entertainment, working in TV and film, and then auditioning as a hip-hop dancer for music videos. I remember driving down Hollywood Boulevard, then Sunset, and then Santa Monica Boulevard, and said, yep, just like every transplant that moves to LA, I was going to make it in Hollywood. I forgot to mention earlier in this video that I was always a creative since birth. I was gonna try college out, but ultimately I would have a career in creative somehow, and I did. I went back to Seattle. I saved up 6 months of savings to move to LA and to start my career as a starving artist. Mind you, I'd never lived outside of my parents' home before moving to LA. I was very sheltered. I never did anything really bad, but I wasn't innocent either. That's when I started to let sin in my life and started lying and keeping things from my parents, the drinking and then the drugs I was taking. But I was a young, naive kid in my 20s who was curious, also very experimental, and Hollywood couldn't wait to devour me.